All right, greetings from Toronto.
Etobicoke, let's be real.
What?
We live in Etobicoke.
Etobicoke,
Basically
Canada.
Toronto.
The best city in Canada. Sorry, Montreal. Toronto is definitely going to make America great again. Don't think Montreal is going to make America great again.
No?
Sitting next to me are my two lovely couch surfing hosts. I stayed with them the past couple of nights. Would you mind introducing yourselves?
My name is Cody. I'm actually from Barrie, and this is my girlfriend.
I'm Taylor. I'm actually from Sarnia, but now we live here in Etobicoke.
And why are we all wearing bow ties right now?
Bow ties has been my thing for the last few years. I don't know, it's something different. Everyone wears ties, everyone wears shirts, but not many people wear bow ties. And I started my own bartending business with Taylor called Bow Tie Bartending.
Bow tie bartending. Stronger drinks.
Stronger style, and now you're a part of it.
And what do you? It's weddings and anniversaries.
Anniversary, special events.
Uh-huh.
So any of you Americans who want to get married, hit me up, 705-627-7037.
And
You gotta put the one in there.
And don't. And if you see the business card and they misspelled anniversaries, that was intentional.
Yeah, you get a shot for realizing that.
Oh yeah, see that's the secret. If you watch this video, you'll know. Free shot.
Yeah.
So how long have you two been in Toronto for? What brought you to the big city, the New York of the North?
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I came to Toronto last May, so I've been here about a year and 2 months now. I took a year off school. I go to university in London, Ontario, Canada. So I took a year off school for an internship, so I moved here to work.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Why am I here? No, I've been here for, what day is it today? A month and almost 2 months. We're like 15 days short, so that means a month and a half. I knew I was going to move in with my brother in September, so I needed a job. So my job actually happened way sooner than I thought, and now I'm in Toronto.
How did you two meet? How long have you two been together, and how did you meet?
Oh, this is good. We've been together for almost 2 months. We met on a online dating app, Bumble. That's where the girl messages the guy first.
It's better than Tinder.
Wait, so give me the stereotype for Tinder and then the stereotype for Bumble.
Tinder's like, you go there to hook up.
Yeah, so like I matched with Taylor and like, you want to come over tonight?
And then Bumble's where you go to get married.
Essentially, yeah. But it's where you ask questions like, what kind of pasta do you like? Where Tinder's like, what are you wearing?
So anyway, continue. You guys met on Bumble.
Yep. And then, honestly, I felt like she was a good girl. So 2 weeks after dating, I was like, I think we should move in. And now we live together.
And how long have you two been living together for?
A month,
A month
maybe?
and a half.
Month and a half?
A month
Yeah.
and a half. So I'm here in the honeymoon phase. So I'm in the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And where do you live? Like, what's your living situation?
I sleep on the couch and Taylor sleeps in the bed. What do you mean?
Like this apartment. Tell us about this apartment you're in.
It's a loft.
Yeah.
So there's the only door is the bathroom door, pretty much.
But who owns this loft?
My mom.
Tam.
Tam owns the loft. My mom.
And so your mom, she was just totally fine with 2 weeks in.
Yeah, it was
guy
her
off
idea.
the Bumble. It was her
It was
idea.
her idea.
Yeah.
My oh my. So for all of our American audiences, maybe from the South, from the Midwest, or our international audiences from pretty much anywhere that is not like Northwest Europe, they're like, wow, Canadians are as liberal as we've been told.
Seriously, in the next week we should probably get married just to fit the stereotype.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, if you got married, then you wouldn't be fitting the stereotype. You need to
True.
get should be saying, not this is my wife. You should say like, this is my partner.
This is my life partner.
This is
We're
my life
gypsies.
partner.
Right.
Fascinating. I'm imagining my parents, like not in a million years. My parents are pretty conservative. I don't think I've ever even introduced a girl that I've been dating to either one of my
really?
parents before. Oh no.
Yeah, my parents' reaction wasn't as well as Tammy's. My parents were more like, you're doing what? You just met her. Are you sure? You should come home most days of the week. And that turned out to never coming home. Well, tonight.
How old are you two?
I'm 20.
I'm almost 22.
Oh, no way. So
Yeah.
you're the cradle robber.
Yeah. She said
And-
she's a diaper sniper.
Whoa, that's a good one right there. Speaking of that, are either one of you able to do a good Canadian accent for us?
That's all you.
Well, we were down at the hockey arena and we were playing with our boots, and I forgot my hockey stick. Hey, and with my bud Alexander. How you doing, please and thank you? Would you like a maple syrup donut?
That was good. That was
I'm
really
sorry
good.
to offend you.
Have you seen the video where Justin Trudeau is in Parliament and he accidentally brushes against one of the members of the
That was
opposition
hilarious.
with his
Holy
elbow,
shit.
and then he
You never saw that?
apologizes for 4 minutes straight. I think he said the word sorry like 30 times in a row.
You know what's the funniest part about that video? Like, people who were not affected about that were like, he assaulted the member of parliament, though he literally brushed into the person. She's like, I feel like I was abused. And it's
I
like,
missed a vote. I went into the hallway.
Yeah.
And he's like, I am so sorry from the bottom of my heart. I am deeply
Oh my
apologetic.
gosh.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, I had to write an email to one of the patients at my work,
Uh-huh.
and the doctor edited it. He's like, you said sorry way too many times in this. He's like, you gotta stop.
We were riding the train last night, the GO train, which is Toronto's commuter rail, and they have, what are they called? I've never seen this before in the world. The customer service ambassador.
The customer
ambassador.
service ambassador, Dakota.
Yeah, our customer service ambassador had just the biggest heap full of maple syrup, heap full of personality I have ever seen in the world.
Welcome to the GO train, everyone. I'm your customer service ambassador, Dakota. I hope you have the greatest train ride today. I just want to let you know that there's rugby this weekend, baseball this weekend, and there's even some concerts. Feel free to check us out on go.ca. Thank you very much. And 5 seconds later, he'd have another speech.
For real, like the entire way, it was incredible. And he was like, "Oh, I'm right in the middle of the train, so you want to come down and say hi, just to come on down?" And hey, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, if Canada wasn't just like freezing cold, if the summer was longer than 2 weeks, I would 100% move out here. I mean, this is the nicest people. Toronto as a city is blowing up. There's like brand new, nice, skyscrapers, apartment buildings like everywhere. It's pretty incredible. But what do you guys think about Quebec? What is the feeling about Quebec?
It's crazy.
Ontario?
I have some really close friends who are, like, I met them, they came from Quebec because they knew my friend.
Mm-hmm.
We hung out a few times with them. But then you go there and the hospitality sometimes could be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't necessarily, like, it's starting to change. The youth is a lot better than,
Mm-hmm.
but if they're like conservative, then it's like French, only French, don't speak English. But it's changing. Quebec is really changing throughout time.
And you speak French, right?
I'm bilingual, yes. Yeah.
So why do you speak French?
I speak French because my grandpa spoke French, so my mom spoke French, so I speak French.
And where were your grandparents from?
Originally, my grandfather is from New Brunswick, so it's a bilingual province out in the Maritimes.
Interesting. So, what do you think about Quebec's like French first, French only? We will not buy from Levi's. We will buy from Levi's mentality.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I find it a shame that they don't embrace both languages as much as they do French, but they're their own.
Français, le premier langue.
They're their own little world out there.
I was couch surfing in the capital of Canada is Ottawa, and there's a river that goes through Ottawa, and south of the river is what? Ontario, and the state of Ontario, and the north of the river is the state of Quebec. And so I was staying in the Quebec side, the province of Quebec, excuse me, and it's called Gatineau, and I stayed with a girl who she just got back from a bicycle ride, so she had a few friends over, 3-4 people, and for the entire night they spoke completely in French, and they asked me, numerous times, "Do you speak French?" And I was like, "Nope." Second time, "No,
Still don't.
Still don't speak French." I've couch surfed probably now about 60, 70 times around the world, and I have never experienced that before anywhere else in the world. So it was fascinating to think that so close to the United States and the rest of Canada, there's this kind of magical little place that's like its own universe.
It's true.
What is Toronto famous for? Like, give us an overview of the vibe of Toronto.
Toronto is like super hipster.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, basically that's where it's like not raining and people wear rain boots called, what are they, hunters?
Oh, hunters, yeah.
It's a place where you can be who you want to be and you won't be judged. Like, there's a lot of places in Canada, Ontario, it's like, okay, you're different, that's weird. But in Toronto, like, this is where people go to express it's like the New York of Canada, right? It's our music scene, our art scene. It's got the good parts of Toronto, the bad parts of Toronto. It's starting to be less bad parts. It's really like updated place. We got the Toronto Blue Jays, fucking blew a game last night. And you're lucky I'm on this podcast because I'm still angry.
What are the big issues here in Toronto? What do the people talk about?
Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
It's our issues are American issues. Is essentially what people talk about.
Really?
I mean,
so out here they are excited about Donald Trump.
We
love Donald Trump.
Yeah, no.
Not quite. A lady was talking to me about Donald Trump on the GO train just yesterday, actually.
Yeah, it's like everyone you go to, it's like, oh, at least it's not Trump running. It's like, another problem though. Issue is our premier. Not a lot of people like our premier of Ontario.
Okay.
Which I guess would be the state governor. You guys
Yeah.
Yeah, no one likes her. That's a problem. Things are expensive. And our dollar. A dollar is a problem.
The dollar is weak.
It is weak.
The Canadian dollar is not doing so well. Right
No.
What are the big issues in Canada? What do the people talk about out here?
Oil. That's a big thing because our industry literally tanked. Oil's an issue. We worry a lot about climate stuff. So, should there be a carbon tax? Should there not be a carbon tax?
It's interesting. Canada, one of the world's largest oil producers, and they're like, oh, the climate, eh?
Yeah.
As the huge part of the economy is based upon the exporting of fossil fuels.
Well, it's crazy. Our party, for the one in power, they believed in climate change, but they had no plan to combat it. Now our current leader actually has a plan to start combating, and that will involve carbon tax.
So let's go over Toronto's most famous residents. Who would you say are the top 3 most famous people from Toronto?
What's his name? Justin.
What?
The stunt devil for the Suicide Squad.
Living in the building with us is a bona fide Canadian movie star.
Justin.
He was a stunt double in the movie Suicide Squad.
Not even for a guy you know.
Yeah.
He's in Avengers now.
Oh, really? Yeah, and your mom stalks him. She's always like knocking on his door, offering him like a cup of sugar, right?
Yes. Very true.
We love you, Justin!
No, but for real, is Justin Bieber from Toronto?
No, he's from Stratford.
Oh, where is Stratford? Is it in the greater Toronto area?
No. Well, like an hour and a half from here.
Yeah,
it's near
my
London.
aunt lives there. Yeah.
An hour and a half, that's, and a lot of cities, we'll just say he's from Toronto.
Yeah, my Reiki aunt lives there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then Drake is from here as well.
Yeah, because he started from the bottom and now he's here.
Yeah, he started from the bottom, being a famous child actor.
Yeah. Wayne Gretzky's from near here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Weeknd?
Oh, The Weeknd's from here.
Yeah.
But, the most famous person from Toronto, of course.
Is us.
Well, yeah, other than you guys.
And Justin.
He was the former mayor of Toronto.
Rob Ford.
Rob Ford. Tell us about Rob Ford, perhaps one of the most famous mayors in the world, actually.
I can just... Rob Ford. He was a crazy crack addict, but he did a lot of good things for Toronto, like lower taxes. He did actually help the drug rate, probably because he did all the drugs. He was known for scandals like cheating on his wife. No proof. He was. It's not a lie. And it wasn't proof. His favorite or famous quote on TV was, "I have enough to eat at home," referring to his wife.
When people would ask him about infidelity.
Yeah, they would ask, "Did you cheat on your wife?" And he's like, "No, I had enough to eat at home." It was on live television. And it was the greatest quote of all time.
So really, I think Canada's taught the world many things. And one of probably the biggest things they've taught them is if you want to have a better city, go out, find the crack addict, make him the mayor.
It's true. It's like the States. They found themselves, it's like, we should find ourselves a misogynist asshole to run our country who has a lot of money. So that means he's going to create a lot of jobs, obviously.
Did Rob Ford have some money?
He coached football at a university as well as he was a ward counselor.
He was a what?
A ward counselor.
What's a ward?
Each city is divided into wards. And in order to, so he was a ward of actually this area where we're in right now. Etobicoke something.
All these Canadian government wards, provinces,
Prime Minister.
The premiers. I'm the premier of the province.
The premier, yeah.
Canada.
Those MPs.
Canada. You're basically the 51st state. Stop trying. Rename provinces states. Rename the premiers governors. Like, get rid of all this nonsense.
Governor Kathleen. Governor.
What do the Canadians think of Americans? What are the Canadian stereotypes of the Americans? Do the Canadians fear that one day the U.S. Army is going to come over and...
God, no. Like, we think you guys have a great army, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But you want to know the real, like stereotypes that we think?
Okay.
Highly overweight.
This is true.
This is true. Education-wise, we feel like we might be a little inferior.
Who? The Americans are a little inferior.
Yeah, like we're a little smarter.
The Canadians are a little smarter.
It's hard to debate that one though. There's so many more people, and
I feel probably.
Yeah,
it's probably correct.
Yeah.
What else?
I actually can't stand guns. Yeah, we're not.
Everyone has a gun.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Like when we drive anywhere in the States, even if it's the smallest town, I can't stand the damn signs that are like 100 feet tall, and I just like this is. So consumerism.
Oh, the billboards.
The billboards, they're nuts. I can't stand
everywhere.
the billboards.
I mean, you guys have plenty of billboards out here in Canada. I was driving from here at Ottawa to here, 5-hour drive. I saw
there's billboards, but then like it's like Denny's. Like every Denny's has a stick that's like 100 feet. I can't stand them.
Oh, really? You don't have big here. You don't want to put your feet on the
right.
thing,
I'll push the thing.
It'll shake the camera. So interesting. Okay. But how about this? If I become king of the United States, I want to make America great again. And one of the things I would do is I would eliminate the border between Canada and the United States, EU, Schengen area style border. So you just drive across. There's a Welcome to Canada sign. Welcome to Canada, eh? Sign. And then a Welcome to America sign. And maybe like two crossed AR-15s and the American flag. And that's it. That would be the end of the border. Would Canadians support that?
No.
Think?
Especially if
one country?
No, not one country. Just there's no border.
There's no way I feel like the Canadians will support that, especially with the gun law. Because then people with guns are going to start coming over our borders. And we're like... Well, they're Americans, so we can't say no. Like, you know what? Bring your Glock. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah. And soon they're gonna like start shooting up all the schools and shopping malls.
Shit. Yeah.
Interesting.
There has been stuff like that in Toronto, like that at the mall in New York.
Was it?
Yeah, there was some shootings.
Has Canada had any big like shooting sprees or serial killers or?
Yeah, we had what's the name? The couple, Paul Bernardo and his wife. Yeah, they killed like many people.
Oh.
They're actually Scarborough.
They were a serial killer couple.
Yeah,
well, that's pretty romantic.
Actually, one of them just got released. The wife, because she was never proven to murder anyone. Just to be like there.
She was providing moral support.
Essentially, yeah.
Like rubbing his back and stuff.
You got them.
Well, that's the thing. It was sad. I'm pretty sure they raped and killed their people.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
Who was the bank robbers?
Oh God.
The couple that were the bank robbers.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They're Canadian?
No, they're American.
Oh, like the movie?
No, yeah. There's a movie on them, but they were real people.
Bonnie and Clyde?
Bonnie and Clyde. So this is Canada's Bonnie and Clyde. What are their names again?
Paul Bernardo and
I don't know.
Carla.
Paul and Carla Bernardo.
I don't think she was Carl Bernardo. He was Paul though.
Oh, see, they were Canadian, so there was more of just like, she's my life partner.
They were spiritually bonded.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Well, you know, hey, free Carl, free. What is her name again?
Paul and Carla.
Paul and Carla. Free Paul and Carla. You heard it here. Let's make Canada great again.
Keeping them in.
No, let them out. Let them out. Let's see. What else? Why should people come to? What are the nicknames of Toronto, and why should people
The Six?
come up here?
Some nicknames are the Six.
T.O.
T.O.
T-Dot.
Why the Six?
The area code.
It's the area code.
I think
Clever.
Drake coined it too.
Drake
Yeah,
coined it,
it's
yeah.
from Drake.
Oh wow! From the
Yeah.
from the poetic
From the
genius.
man himself.
Drake, the Six, so clever. Okay, what else?
You can only count to 6, right?
Yeah, probably.
We're known the Great White North,
Proud and free.
Yeah.
proud and free, the greatest country in the history of Earth. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Hey.
Sorry.
That's some the coin nicknames. Like where I'm from, we call it the 705 because that's our area code, and we go.
Oh, God.
When we're all like friends in a room, we all go 705, 705.
We're the same thing, but it's 519 where I'm from.
That's pretty weird.
519.
519.
Oh, 519.
Uh,
so bourgeois. 519.
Country.
Why should people visit?
Why should
Toronto.
people visit?
Oh,
Like Toronto,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's where you can walk in the streets. You don't have to worry. You can do whatever you'd like.
Are they going to be the victim of like a shooting spree like in the United States?
No, I feel like there's less like you don't have to walk through like a lot of poverty areas to find something nice. Like there's everything everywhere. Like
Yeah.
I could go to one area of the Toronto and be like, I want to do an escape room, and I'll find it. Like it's so cool.
So your two's hobby is that you're trying to visit all the baseball diamonds of
Yes.
all the MLB
MLB.
teams.
Yeah.
And apparently, back in the Rust Belt, like the baseball stadiums are kind of in not nice parts of town.
Well,
Right.
Learning.
Detroit wasn't. Like we went to the Detroit game. Like the diamond was nice. It was in a nice area. But like we literally walked 5 minutes away, and it was like it was sketchy. It was dark. We stayed at a spot where people sleep in the bus stops, right? And I was like, Taylor, why don't you go sleep with them? And she's like, no. Yeah, where people are like, hey,
What
get
about,
a cigarette.
What about Cleveland?
Cleveland
It was
too.
similar.
It was similar. Like
also
the
bad.
guys were telling us, yeah, don't walk over there. Don't walk in that area.
What was your parking situation in Cleveland?
So we went to go find a parking spot, but everything cost $25. So
Oh.
we're like, hey, let's drive a little farther. And we found a place that was like $5. This must not be real. So we drove to this $5 spot and we didn't see anyone. So Taylor's like, I think we should leave. But this guy like knocks on our car. He's like, hey, give me $5 and your car's safe for the day. You can park here all day.
And I'm like, he does not work here, but
I gave him the $5 anyways, but he had a lot of cash. So.
He had just like raggedy clothes.
Oh yeah, like he looked like he came, I don't know, out of a dumpster.
Out of the bus stop.
Out of the bus stop. He was the guy in the bus stop.
Yeah.
But then we came back and our car was there, so...
he wasn't though.
He
but
wasn't,
our car
yeah.
was there, so that's all that mattered.
Well, maybe he was just kind of like hiding somewhere and he just pop out when
Maybe.
somebody drives
Yeah, maybe he like lived in the sewer.
It was a really hot day, so he could have been hiding.
It was super
Yeah, he
hot. It was the
probably
hottest
wanted-
day in Cleveland of the year so far.
Wow.
Hot.
Yeah.
Isn't... Okay. All right, let's see. What else? You're a bona fide YouTube celebrity.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us about that.
So I had a YouTube video with over 21,000 views. Maybe I'll be 21,003 after this video.
21,000 views, so that's like everyone who lives in the Northern Territory.
Yeah, it's like the Northwest Territories.
Yeah.
So I made a promposal to my...
It wasn't me.
It wasn't her.
Oh.
But yeah, it
We
was...
can see the fractures forming already.
Yeah. So next video, Taylor won't be in it now.
When I return to Toronto.
Yeah. It was fun though. It was a bachelorette mock video with my friend who was a football player and my other friend who's very good at acting.
And so prom is a big thing in Canada as well.
Yes.
America has exported.
You guys are still a little crazier on your proms. But
Yeah.
Really?
During my prom, somebody showed up in a helicopter.
Yeah.
It was
Not.
two couples, they landed in a helicopter. It was like, I was throwing up in my mouth a little bit when I saw that.
Yeah.
I would-
We had a city bus close, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you went.
We rented a city bus.
Oh, you rented a city bus. You can rent city buses in Canada.
You can charter them, yeah. So
You
pay,
rented a city bus?
Yeah, you pay by the hour.
Oh my gosh.
No way.
What
Canada,
did you
It's
take?
such a Sarnia thing.
oh, man, they say America's the land of opportunity, but in Canada you can rent city buses.
Yeah, you can do school
That's
buses
so
too.
cool.
But I thought city bus is a little more classier.
Oh yeah, definitely.
When you're taking like the public transit to your prom.
But like you get it to yourself, and then you know the flashing lights that'll say like
the
to stop.
destination, it said
Yeah,
like prom.
you can put whatever you want on it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It said prom.
No,
I could just
ours was SFX because those are high school initials, prom. But then it kind of looked like sex prom, and it was a whole other ordeal. But
That's
just like you're
good.
sitting on this like dirty bus. Though at least you rented it out.
How did you arrive to prom?
This is very classic. I
Okay.
drove.
no,
We drove to prom. Imagine that.
that's so mundane.
Because then we have something called after prom.
Yeah, what's after prom?
After
You guys
prom
have
is-
after prom?
It's where you get really drunk with your whole
Best
school.
part of prom.
With your crew?
But people do stupid shit. Like people start doing cocaine, a lot of hard drugs. Like at these things, it's nuts. People like shit on people's cars.
Okay.
It was true.
You live in a kind of a
Only in the 705.
Animalistic society.
Yeah, only in the 705. Yikes! Don't go to the 705.
We didn't do that in the 519.
Unless you have some pretty strong like windshield wipers and and windshield fluid. Make sure your windshield fluid is stocked up before you go to the 705.
Animal grade.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Some animal grade. So, I mean, speaking of animals, out here in Toronto, you leave your keys in your car, right? So that like when a grizzly comes through and somebody's out walking their dog, they can hop into your car, right?
That's more Northwest Territories.
You gotta go Yellowknife for that.
All right, let's see. What else? What should we cover before we close? So I interviewed people in Quebec, talked to them what they thought. Talked to the
Or
girl I
couch
interviewed. Yeah, when I was there in couch surfing in Montreal. Talked to her about what she thought about the rest of Canada and independence. What do you guys think about Quebec? Would you support them going independent?
No.
Would you say good riddance, or
No,
do you
stay.
want them? Do you want them part?
I want them to be part of us. It's part of our country. Like they have a lot of history too, right?
Uh-huh.
To who we are. I really would be sad if they left.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think of this bilingual stuff? I'm here in Toronto. I actually haven't heard French. I've been walking on the street past thousands of people. I haven't even heard French a
Probably
single
heard more
time.
Chinese.
Yeah, heard more Chinese. Toronto is actually one of the most diverse major cities in the entire world. You know, you see people here from from all corners of the world here in Montreal, or here in Toronto, excuse me. I'm so sorry.
No.
I'm so sorry. But anyway, I haven't heard really French at all. But when I went to the museum, I went to the Royal Ontario Museum, which covers everything except for Ontario, and all the signs were in equal size, English and French.
Yeah.
And I just imagine they had to have spent tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars more for all that French signage. Even though I never heard a single person speaking French in the museum. What do you guys think of all this additional expense to be like a bilingual country? Do you feel it's worth it?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it's hard to explain. It was part of our heritage.
It's
Like,
our identity.
French was, if I'm not mistaken, our first language to
Yeah.
start.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, and we can go back to the natives, but the French, like from the what's it called, the people who put their flag in our country said, "Hey, it's Canada." I'm pretty sure that it was mainly French at the time.
Yeah.
So I believe it is part of our heritage and culture, and there is a ton of people who do speak French,
Uh-huh.
and the people who speak French, they do it in their heads.
Well, that's like me. Like if I were to go to the museum, like I would take time to read the French signs, but you wouldn't hear me speaking it probably.
Like Taylor on her resumes and stuff, she puts as her premier language as French.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
as well as in Canada,
Your premier language.
Well, first language.
First language. You're more likely to get jobs if you can be bilingual.
Uh-huh. So when I was in Quebec, very fascinating. The street signs were all exclusively in French, no English. Everything government related, anything that like the city had put up was all in French. The metro, this is the only metro I've ever been to in a even moderately developed city in the entire world where they did not also have it in English. The metro in Montreal was only in French. So it's surprising to see out in Ontario. You'd think that maybe Ontario would be like, oh, well, if you want to do everything in French in Quebec, well, we'll do everything in English.
That's the problem. They're like we don't agree with them for doing that, but like we think our way is right, I guess, right? Like they think their way is right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it should be federally mandated that both languages are, especially if they count English as our first language. You'd think, well, maybe they should have their signs in English. But let's be real, not a lot of us actually go, like if you go to Montreal, have you been to Montreal?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just said
I spent 3 days there.
a lot of people speak English in Montreal.
Uh-huh.
Like any like suburbs of Quebec,
Mhm.
it's like pure French. Not many people speak English. But if you go to Montreal, Quebec City, a lot of them can speak English.
Yeah.
So at least you can get around that way. Like, hey, where am I going?
All right. Well, I think we should probably end it here. Do you want to do you have any fun facts about Toronto or any interesting Toronto history to close the conversation?
Fun facts. Oh my God, that's a good question. Let's see.
No pressure.
Niagara Falls has Canada's Hershey factory. That's an interesting fact. You guys like your Hershey's? It's terrible chocolate, but it's there.
Yeah.
I just recommend people whoever wants to couch surf, absolutely do it.
Ad.
Oh yeah. How did you guys get into couch surfing, and what do you think of it? Was I your first couch surfer?
Oh, you're
That
not
we
first one
hosted.
hosting, yeah.
Yeah.
I was their first stranger from the internet who they let sleep in their love nest.
Yeah.
I swiped right on him. No, I think couchsurfing is probably the greatest community out there.
Uh-huh.
I feel like travelers, we all have the same goal, I hope, to experience the world and not just be tourists, but experience culture, right?
Yeah.
The best way to do that is by staying with someone who can maybe show you around a bit, give you a place to stay, and it's way affordable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to read your references to make sure the person's not looking for wrong intentions, but I think this is one of the coolest experiences you can do.
How did you two hear about it?
So I started a few years ago, like I was a part of the community.
Uh-huh.
There was my dad's friend who did a Europe trip, and he did it all through couchsurfing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I want to do this one day, and eventually I found someone who was interested in doing it with me. So it's cool. She's super adventurous.
Me.
Yeah, you.
All right. Well, all right. Well, thank you for talking to us, and thank you for hosting me. Thank you, Marcy.
De rien.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Well, you have to say goodbye in French too.
Au revoir.